Hey everybody, peace and blessings to you. Whew. I don't know why it hit me the way it did, but I do know. So I woke up earlier and had a quick prayer, got myself together, but I lay back down, I dozed off, and I had this dream. Overall, the dream was about identity crisis. And in the dream, I was at this, some type of maybe like a political event, or it was something real big, whatever it was. And there was this lady that came up to me, and she put me in the mind of one of my former students' mother, Miss Elaine Strozier, or Pastor Elaine Strozier. And she was telling me something to the fact of that particular season I wanted to go into was not meant for me to go through at that time. And everything that I went through was for like a learning curve, or like for the challenges and the tests to become a testimony, right? And then I woke up. Now I'm talking about, I woke up at 6:30. I dozed off, I woke back up. It was like 7:38, and I was like, oh Lord, I'm gonna be late. I need to pick up one of my clients. Thank Lord I won't, but anyway. And so, as I was driving, I kept thinking, Lord, how in the world, where did this even come from? And so it just came back to me about identity crisis. And I thought, okay. Identity in Christ, Lord, is that what you're saying? And it was more, it was more or less like something that kind of falls under the lines of like imposter syndrome. And it happens to a lot of people. I learned about imposter syndrome about a year and a half ago, and it's something that's fairly common that happens. But looking at it with a spiritual eye, it falls under identity in Christ, or lack of, because we may have our eyes on so many things of the world, and then we go through things. Well, I'm gonna tell it. I was rejected. This ain't no sad story. This ain't no sob story. And I'm not talking about rejected when I was a little kid, which I was, but no, I'm talking about as a grown woman. 3.5 years. Yep. So in this particular domain of my life, going in, I knew that I was set apart, because some of the things that was the dynamics, I was like, Lord, these people, what's wrong with them? Because I ain't used to this. This is crazy to me. And so anytime I presented an idea, it was always, no, she don't know what she's talking about. Nope. The group would turn around and use the idea as if they did it. Or maybe I would structure and write certain things. They'd be like, well, I want that. Well, let me try to put my little twist on it. It always ended up being, well, we're gonna reject it, but we'll take it, but we gotta add our twist to it, so it can look like we did it, even though that wasn't the case. rejected being called a black, B-I-T-C-H. Sometimes they call me the black N. Yeah. All kinds of stuff. I really could write a book on the racism and the hatred that I experienced. And so it's one thing to be rejected by the world, because you don't know them, they really don't know you. But it hits different when you're rejected by your peers, and it won't all of them either. Now, let me be very clear. It's just a little different. And so I made a poor choice so that I could feel like I was part of the collaborative. Why? Because I was looking at all the things that man was doing to me and saying to me. And it seemed nobody would help me. Even down to legally. I have to write a book about that. But I felt like I had nobody. I knew if I shared some of the things that was going on, I knew if I shared that stuff with some of the folks in my family, it wouldn't have been good, is all I can tell you. I kept all that to myself and didn't share it, because in the back of my mind I thought, if I share this and something happened, I don't want that on my hands. So again, I was focused so much on things of the world, because I wanted to feel accepted. I'd never been rejected, not like that. That was a different level, very different level, to be rejected by your own peers. People sit right there and look at you in your face. That thing hurt me, and it triggered some traumas in me. Again, I was rejected much earlier in my younger life, but I never got it addressed. Again, that's one of the stigmas, still a stigma, especially in the black community. There's still stigmas around mental health. If you go, especially like marginalized communities, which is why I also love my certification in community health, so I can educate folks and help them. That's the reason I got it. I didn't get it just to say, well, I got it, or here's another accolade. No, because the things that I have been through, and some poor choices that I have made, I don't want nobody else to go through that. So anytime that the Lord blesses me to attain something, it ain't for me. It's definitely for the communities, for somebody else, because I already been through. And so I share things in hopes that I'm helping someone else. Don't go down this road, come and tell you, it ain't gonna turn out good. Every podcast, everything that I do is in service to others. Some may agree, some might not agree, but I know what time it is. I know in my heart it's for service. Y'all, there plenty of times I'll be like, I think I'm gonna close my page down. I'm gonna take a break. And the very time that I do, in fact, I was at an event about 2 weeks ago. And this lady, I've known her for a number of years, but I hadn't seen her in a long time. Pulled me over to the table. She was sitting there and told me what a great job I was doing, and she likes when I do videos because the videos are very realistic, and basically it was empowering and encouraging. And this is somebody that I didn't even know if she listens to anything I say, the podcast or anything. And I didn't take no credit for it. I said, well, to God be the glory. I'm glad. Yeah. So with the professional profile, y'all follow with me. I ain't planning on talking about this. But with the professional dashboard and the content creator thing, so every week they send you this thing with goals. You know, you might have to do 5 reels, 5 public posts, whatever. You do, that's your goal for the week. And a lot of times I just do pre-scheduled posts because I ain't, Lord bless me with different things. I ain't got time to be up there all day long. And so I've gotten to the point, I was like, monetization, yeah, it would be a good thing. I'd love to have another form of some type of residual income. I could put that money to the side, whatever it might be, $20, $30, whatever the potential is. But God started revealing to me, in time, that time's gonna come for you. But right now, I don't want you to focus on the number of people that follow you, or you need to have 5,000 followers to get such and such, or whatever the case may be. He was like, I don't even want you to even worry about these challenges they have every week. I just want you to make a positive impact. If it's just one person, that's what I want you to focus on right now. So that's what I'm gonna do. Like I said, I have some pre-scheduled posts, but as far as maybe trying to complete anything right now, nah. He's already said in due season, you'll know when, because the right people, the right connection, everything's gonna come, and it's gonna be easy for you. Because my following had actually increased a lot. But I started getting a bunch of trash on my feed. People hanging out, they shaking and jingling and carrying on. I said, good Jesus. I went right on up there on that page. I cleaned it right on up. I said, if this what I got to have, no, if this what's gonna pop up on my page as a result, no, I don't even want it. I don't care if I don't have but one person up there. Yeah, that's fine with me. So that's where I'm at. So again, this ties into self-identity. Identity in Christ. I'm all right. Yes, I am. I am okay with the following that's already up there, the content that's already up there, but yep, until he gives me a full release and he'll show me in season, this I want you to really dive in, and everything will work itself out. I'm telling you this because I'm being obedient. I ain't worrying about the challenges. Nope. I'm being obedient because I feel like God is still developing my identity in Him. So it's very critical for all of us to make sure that we are identifying with Christ and not things of the world. I'm telling you from experience. Did you hear what I just said earlier about being rejected and how it hurt me? So I made some poor choices so that I could feel part of the collaborative. Yeah. And then when I sat back and reflected on it, them people still, they talked about me. They took credit for my work. They were still doing stuff. And for a while, that poor choice that I knew I had made started to eat away at me. But I didn't know how to break away from it because I was too far in. Because I was trying to find identity in things instead of looking at the woman in the mirror, looking inside. God showed me who I am. Because I'm lost. Yeah. I'm lost because I've always been told, you ain't gonna be nothing. You dumb. You stupid. You can have a lot of babies, and depending on the system to take care of, you gonna live in the projects. I would get compared, even to other relatives. Won't you be like them? They made all A's. You made all A's and the B. You dumb. And I'm thinking to myself, you really want me to be like them? You sure? You sure now? Because I rock with them. Because that's my people. But I know what they doing. I know you don't want me to do what they doing. At 15, 16, 13. I know you don't want me doing what they doing. Ain't no way. But this is where you trying to press me to. Yeah. Graduated all of my college stuff. I graduated with honors. Yep, sure did. I had to use assistive technology because I was under so much stress, and then I got diagnosed with the neuroskeletal neuromuscular disorder and all this kind of stuff. It mimicked MS, and that was a misdiagnosis, and so they came up with the correct term, neuroskeletal neuromuscular, whatever. But I couldn't even lift my arms. I had to get 8 injections on my neck, 3 on each side and 1 in each shoulder blade, just so I could turn my neck. I went down to a size 3-4 because of stress, and then even during that period, I didn't know who I was then either. But even through all of that, having to use assistive technology, meaning I had to speak. They had to send me something, an adaptive piece to put to my computer, and I would speak into it for it to do my papers and stuff or make my comments in class. Because stress had tore me up just that bad. It impacted my speech. I had a bad stutter. And if I get a little bit stressed or worried about something now, it'll come back. But I'm talking about the stutter was so bad, I almost became what you call mute. Because I won't talk to nobody unless it was immediate family. Other than that, it was like I was a turtle that went in the shell. I ain't want to talk. No, every other word. Yeah, that's how I was talking. Even through all of that, God still allowed me to graduate back to back in my degree programs with 3.9. On the top of these degrees I got, it says with distinction. And do you know, even with those degrees saying with distinction, I still had issues with identity because I was always told I won't be nothing. So my push and my motivation to attain certain things in life when it came to education was more or less like, I'll show you better than I could tell you. And the people were still giving me they behind, the kids still telling me I want nothing. They would honor other people. I'm talking, we in the same circle. They would honor them and wouldn't even acknowledge nothing. Even though I was the one who completed the level of education first. So that was a slap in the face. So yeah, I dealt with identity crisis for a long time. And I tapped into therapy. Thank the Lord. My therapist, she's also a minister. And the first time I got in therapy with her, I kept looking at her. I kept saying, man, I know this lady. I've seen this lady in my childhood from somewhere. I know I have. And the more we talk, she kind of would go through my record. She said, I see you know your hometown is such and such. And well, I'm from Goldsboro. And I said, are you related to Reverend Frank Daniels? She said, yeah, that was my papa, that was my granddaddy. I said, I remember you from St. Luke Church as a little girl. So we hit it off right there because our families go way back. She knows my family, but that was strategic. And so she has helped me to develop skills to understand who I am. Biblical skills. So each day, I'm building each day. I'm building on to me. I'm living my life every day to improve. Now, do I still got some stuff to work on? Yep, sure do. Yeah, I still got some stuff to work on. I work on it every day to improve me, not impress whoever. Major stuff is going on in my life in a positive direction, but I'm learning now. I ain't even, if I do decide to make mention of it, because if I make mention of something, it's because it's in service or testimony along those lines to give somebody else encouragement. You won't know about it until after it's already done. That's how my posts are going to be. Now, yeah, I get up there. Y'all know I cut up. I made a post yesterday where I was at the ceiling. Let me pick this little girl up. And that's a balance for me. You know, I can't be super serious every single time. I got to show my human side. If you really close to me, you know I cut up. You also know that I'm very introverted. If you really know me like that, I'm okay with my downtime, being right by myself, just to recharge. And so I'm just thankful, even though the test, initially it hurt, but day by day it was like the Band-Aid was, lifting just a little bit. Y'all know how it is when you put a Band-Aid on, you just can't rip it off because it hurts. You got to kind of ease it off. That's how my situation was. And I'm thankful for that. Thankful for the people that continue to pour into me. I ain't gonna mention one name, but he's my guy. And he knows I love him. We talk. He supported me. I support him. So if he looks at this video, he'll know exactly who I'm talking about, but I can't mention the name because I know Mount Olive. Y'all put people in relationships that ain't never thought about being in no relationship. Don't look at each other like that, and no shape, form, or fashion. So I have to be careful even in what I say. But I'm very thankful for my true friends that still pour into me to make sure, hey, you you still doing what you need to do? Well, I can tell because I see you growing. So I'm very thankful for God placing strategic people in my life. I'm thankful that I'm listening instead of me trying to place people in my life that I think are strategic. Because I'm going to tell you through experience now, them folks that I thought was strategic in my life, when I sat down with my folks who really love me, and they broke it down from the very beginning, I said, my God, this was a setup the entire time. And Lord, I didn't even see it. But I'm on to you now. Yeah. My life is at more at ease, more at peace. Maybe some little bumps in the road every once in a while. But I got God there with me. And I keep him at the forefront of everything that I do. Because if not, I'm not going to be that successful in anything if I put my ideas before his. So now, yeah, I'm very strategic. I just have to ask God, do you think this is a good idea? And then I have to sit on it because he don't answer me right then. Sure don't. He might be months down the road. Then he'll show me. Yeah, that's a good move. Or no. Or keep waiting. So I don't mind the wait. I don't mind the wait. But anyway, y'all, this is my talk for today. Again, talking about identity. Self-identity. And then the identity in Christ. Yeah. All right. Well, y'all, I think that's about it. If I think of anything else the Lord gives me to say, I'll come back. If he don't give me nothing to say, I ain't come back to share nothing. All right, y'all take care.